What is up, guys? This is Jay with Prepared Citizens. Welcome to the Matrix. This is going to be a little bit different of a video. Obviously, I got a microphone in front of me so you can hear me well, and but it's going to be really so for those of you that are following Prepared Citizens and may plan on following in the future. I think it's important if you follow someone or a business or whatever the case is, I think it's important you know what they're about, right? So that is with me anyway. Anything I support, anything I follow, especially something I'm going to give my hard-earned money to, I definitely want to know what that company is about and what their values are. So anywho, my name is Jay Addison. I do not hide. I don't use a fake name or anything. That's me. Before I started this business, this channel, all this stuff, I was completely off of social media, completely off of anything, and life was good. I can say that. Life was great. Not being on the screen all the time, right? But God laid it on my heart to help people prepare. Why he told me that, I have no idea, because I'm thinking, I'm pretty happy just being a good Indian. I don't really want to be a chief necessarily, but in order for this thing to get going, I had to get on the social medias, had to get my voice out there to folks, and here we are. So we're trying to carry that out and help people. So as far as preparedness goes, I try to focus on everyday preparedness. It's really the primary focus. I want to try to reach all avenues of preparedness, but I strongly focus on everyday preparedness, because if you're not just prepared, for the day, for each day, and being a better individual and just carrying the tools and having the training necessary to prevent bad things, I don't even think you should even begin worrying about a long-term preparedness plan if you can't even focus on the day-to-day stuff. So, but today, instead of talking about that, we're going to talk about just topics going on in the world. And this is really risky for me because I am such a small channel. Again, I think I've got around 500 subscribers right now, so I'm teensy tiny in YouTube language. And, if they shut me down, there's not going to be many people speak out and be like, hey, you need to bring this person back. I've noticed when YouTube and other platforms have tried to shut down dudes that's got like big, heavy following, like millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people, YouTube or whatever platform will get enough complaints. They will a lot of times bring them back. So it's kind of risky for me, but nonetheless, back to what I was saying in the beginning, I think it's important you understand who you're following, and I'm just going to kind of tell you how I feel about things and what, Prepared Citizens is about, because people do come train with me in person. I am a firearms instructor. I'm NRA certified, which I know that's not saying much, but my training resume is on my website, and I do medical training. I got another training coming up this May. I do stop the bleed training, nothing like crazy, but just the basics, how to use tourniquets, things like that. Pick up some cool tourniquets. I've been carrying this Snake Staff Systems ETQ wide, and man, I really like this thing. This is a really cool tourniquet, guys. Anybody that's into the windlass style tourniquets. But anywho, it's important you know what someone's about, right? Like I said before I send my hard-earned money to anyone or support someone, I want to know pretty in depth what they're about, especially nowadays, because everything is so divided, and that's by design. But talking about the the language and everything today. You know, growing up, it's Republican and Democrat. And for me, it's pretty simple. I really don't even pick a side of those, especially now. For me, it's God and guns. If someone is going to protect my right and my freedom to my religion, that's cool. And if they're going to protect my gun rights, that's cool. An armed society is a safe society. And at the same time, if the government leaves society armed, that's a pretty obvious sign they're not going to come after your God-given rights, whether it be free speech or your guns or what have you. So, when governments start trying to degrade or remove God or guns, that's a good sign that they're up to no good. A lot of people get crazy on the Christian thing, but look, even if you're not a Christian, here's the point to that. Christianity, even just the bare basics, the 10 Commandments that God gave Moses, within those, I'm not going to recite every one, but within those, there is do not steal, do not kill, do not lie, things like that. Are you getting what I'm saying? And I think regardless of what religion you are, and don't commit adultery too, don't want to forget that one, but I think it's safe to say if everyone didn't have to deal with those things, that's a pretty good society. Whether you're Christian or not, that's pretty good. So when people, or when government starts to degrade and basically tell you those values aren't important, that's a good sign they're up to no good. I think about everyone can tell where the crime rate has went with this recent administration, and this didn't start with Biden, guys. A lot of people are just waking up now, which is, thank God, people are waking up. But and honestly, you know, I really tried to. I've always voted, but I really tried to stay out of a lot of politics until COVID. When I saw the shit the government pushed and tried to get people to do during that time, it really woke me up. I'm like, wow, we need food, we need water, I need a lot more ammunition, we need weaponry, we need a lot, and we need to get close to God, and we need to start valuing and really living the morals that we need to be living to make our lives and the people's lives around us better, because the government isn't going to do shit to make your life better, period. And anyone, I hate to say it, but anyone that is voting that way, thinking that this administration, that just Democrats in general, are going to make things better, you have about lost your mind. And I'm not saying that to be an ass, but I'm saying it to be an ass at the same time, because it doesn't take much to look around. So this isn't going to be everything. I am not claiming to be some kind of news channel or anything like that. I'm just going to go over some of the big topics that I've been hearing about a lot recently. Before I jump into those, I want to remind everybody, please consider picking something up, some medical gear, some medical kits, tourniquets, anything like that, from my website, preparedcitizenstg.com. Got a lot of cool stuff. And I want to remind you to get a firearm, start carrying with you every day, start training, learn how to use it, be efficient. Because trust me, there are people out there that are training to kill Americans, and they don't stop. They don't put things off for tomorrow. They train every day. And I mean that. We've got a lot of enemies within this country that's come across the border, and that's not a joke. People in the big cities, you've probably noticed the crime rates. You've probably noticed a lot of criminals, illegal criminals that come through our border, they've committed some pretty horrible crimes that get released like that. So get armed, learn how to use it. Keep a firearm with you every day. And I mean that. Armed society, it's going to be a good society. All right. Moving on. Here's some just topics I've come up. The very first one that concerns me is our children. Our children. Guys, some of the shit that has been creeping into our schools under our noses is absolutely ridiculous. It is no longer public schools. It is government indoctrination camps. Granted, it's probably been this for a long time. I mean, pretty much. The school system is designed to create little worker ants to go out, make you think you can't do certain things, and you're just going to be a worker your whole life. And that's a bunch of BS. You can do what you want to do. Whatever, the human mind is the most powerful tool on the face of the planet. When you set your mind to something that you're going to do it, and you start taking action towards that plan, towards what you want, you can do it. I don't care what it is. I do not care what it is. There are plenty of amazing stories out there. Just from what I'm doing right now, I never would have dreamed I could do. And I finally hit 34. I was 34 years old. I'm like, I'm not getting any younger. God's laid this on my heart even heavier than he has in the past. And with everything going on, I just did it. It was extremely intimidating, extremely scary. There's a lot of days it's a struggle running a small business, but you can do it. You can do it. If you want to start a business, start a dang business. You can do it, okay? So I don't like that about school systems. But aside from that, the important stuff, the bullshit, the racism, it's sick. The sexualization of our children, like them trying to make shit like trans and drag and gay and lesbian, all this stuff, like it's okay. It's not okay. It's absolutely not okay. Not for children. Okay, when you get 18 and you start working, you're paying your own taxes, paying your way, you got your own place. If you want to pretend you're a flipping unicorn, no one gives a shit. That's cool. That's okay. When it comes to children, they don't even need to know about that. Period. And the fact, like, we don't have TV anymore. I just cut it off because commercials are trying to shove that shit down people's throats, and it's just sick. It pisses me off. You know, to be honest, all you gay and lesbian people need to thank a heterosexual couple somewhere, aka your mom and dad, for your existence. And I got gay and lesbian friends. Let's put that. I think we all do. My God, it's 2024. Who the hell don't have a gay or lesbian friend, or even a trans friend at this point? I got a trans friend, and she don't even. It's a he. She don't even believe in this shit for kids, right? So, and that's another topic. Division. There's a bunch of sick bastards. Any of these like drag freaks that want to shake their dicks in front of little kids, you deserve something I can't say on YouTube. Period. So, that is not okay. And talking about division, you know, the government tries to pit they have done such a good job. It started with Obama. Strongly. That's when the race stuff started. And then they just started picking away at different little topics to divide people. Okay? When, and God forbid this happens, but if they start rounding people up to go to work camps or concentration camps, whatever you want to call them, in this country, it's not going to matter what you are, what you identify as. We're all going to be in the same boat. And then that's when, and it's too late by that point, to realize that, oh shit, we were played like a fiddle. We were all on the same team. But the government made us think that we weren't, to divide us and make us weak. Because they know if everyone quits congregating about the big issues, that they'll have a chance to push their regime and their shit without anyone noticing. But yes, the government does a good job. Not all gay and lesbian trans people think like that. Not all gay, lesbian, trans people think it's okay to expose children to that. Okay? So everyone needs to hear that. It is not everyone. It's just because someone is trans does not mean they believe like that. The government is trying to divide us. I hope to God everyone knows that by now. Same thing with the race stuff, guys. Same thing with the race stuff. One of my children got told the other day at school that they were talking about the Civil War, or they were talking about Abraham Lincoln, and they were saying one of the great things that Abraham Lincoln did was free the slaves. Let me give you a little history lesson about that. And if you can find any accurate recordings of history, you will know. Or if you just listen and open your eyes a little bit, this is going to make sense for you. So real quick, I want to make this quick as I can. The Civil War. It was a nasty thing. It was stupid. Very, very ugly. Slavery in general was horrible. That was a horrible thing. First off, fathers, when Declaration of Independence, all that good stuff was written, there was more people that supported slavery than did not. Thomas Paine, someone I like reading about, he did not support it whatsoever. He's got a lot of good writings, by the way. But he did not support slavery. Some did, some did not. Slavery. First off, you got to understand, slaves were sold and traded to us by tribe leaders, rather. So in Africa, and this is, whether you want to admit it, this still goes on today, by the way, as far as the tribal stuff. Tribal wars and things like that, when they will battle for land, and they will capture prisoners. Or they will have criminals that, I don't know, tried to rape a woman, for instance, tried to steal someone's animal or something within the tribe. They got prisoners of war, prisoners of crimes. And those were the people that got sold by the tribal leaders into slavery. Because it was either like, okay, we're going to execute them or make some money off of them. What would you want to do? Right? So, that's how they come about. It wasn't like all these old ass white men going over there running dudes down, running these athletes down, right? That's how it happened. Okay. So, now we got slaves on American soil. And primarily, slaves were used on farms and things like that. Why? Because it's a lower skill. It can be taught a little easier. And basically, from a plantation owner standpoint, all you got to do is house them and keep them well fed and allow them to raise their families and have more children, and voila, you got like generations of workers for you, and you just basically allow them to live like, hey, we're going to give you everything you need, just, do the work. It's either this or death. What do you want? And you got to think about this. So, primarily, slaves were black. There were slaves of all colors, but primarily they were black because of how many were just sold into slavery from Africa. Good or bad thing? I think it's a horrible thing, but it is what it is, right? It's history. Um, Obviously, I'm proud to be from a country that finally decided that that is wrong and stood against it, and we set an example for the world. But before I get into that, let's talk about Abraham Lincoln selling or freeing slaves. Let's think this through. So keep in mind, this is the government. So Civil War days, the North was the Republicans. Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. The South was Democrats. That's where the term Southern Democrats came from, which, by the way, are all dead and gone. There is no more Southern Democrats. So up north, there was more industry and things like that. In the South, it was like cotton farms, peanuts, lots of food. Up north was your iron factories, things like that. They could manufacture weapons and such. So all these factory owners up north, if you owned a big business up north, it was probably some kind of industry dealing with metal or something like that. Well, those guys had to hire skilled tradesmen. They are not cheap. They're very expensive. Taxes are a lot higher on a business like that. A lot more overhead, a lot more expenses. And then you got plantation owners down south. Well, all they did was make a one-time purchase on a bunch of slaves, and they're done. They're not having to constantly pay taxes for those employees because it's not employees, it's slaves. They are making a killing, filthy rich is what plantation owners are getting versus industry owners. Now, keep in mind also, who is the plantation owners? Who is these big industry owners? Kind of look at it today. Not necessarily politicians, but if they're not politicians, they're very well connected to politicians. All that money circulates, or a lot of it, within politicians and big businesses, if you haven't noticed how it works today. So, Republicans are pissed. They're like, they shouldn't be getting that much money. We need to start taxing them for slaves. So, that was one of the things Abraham Lincoln said he's going to do. He's going to start taxing for slaves. Plantation owners, the South, Southern Democrats, they said, hell no, you ain't. So they removed him from the ballot. He wasn't even on the ballot to be voted for. In a nutshell, this started a war. Like, literally, all these politicians and business owners, they said, we are going to actual war over this. Because it's politicians, guys. It's money or power. They do not fight for people's freedom. Period. Guys, think about this. Are you a slave today? Think about how you live. Even me right now, I still have a job I show up to 40 hours a week. I come home, I do another job, and I still try to make time for dad life and family life. If I didn't have that 40-hour-a-week job, I would lose everything. Is that a slave? Kinda. Like, yep, I got a roof and all this stuff over my head. I got just enough food to eat and feed my family, and if I don't do this thing, I lose it all. Kind of like slaves. Guys, we're modern day slaves. How much taxes do they take out of your paycheck? We're modern day slaves. I digress. Alright, so my point is, even back then, it wasn't about slavery. When the war started, both sides, South and North, told all slaves, because the North still had a bunch of slaves, they wasn't like farmers, they were more like housekeepers, assistants, things like that up north. Abraham Lincoln, I think, had like 10, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. He had a few, though. But, so the deal was, if you fight for us, South or North, both sides did this at the same time. They said, if you fight for us, you'll get your freedom. That'll be you and your family's freedom. So, was it Abraham Lincoln that freed the slaves? No. They were pissed off because Southern Democrats and plantation owners were getting a shit ton of money. That's what it is. Never think politicians are trying to do anything for your safety, for your freedom. I've not seen it in my lifetime, really. Like, when I was young, after 9/11, the Patriot Act, I remember thinking, like, at the time, I didn't know anything about politics. I remember them talking about it in high school, and I'm like, well, that sounds good. They can track down terrorists. And then here we are today. They just passed basically a part 2 to that. And it ain't to track down terrorists, it's track down me and you. It's a weapon against me and you now. Did they do it? See, they told us they're going to use it to fight evil. But what did they really do? Dude, they use that on us all the time. Okay? So anyway, that's my take, or that's the Civil War, the slavery issue. It was politicians after power and money. That's what that was about. Just like today. They tell you, we're going to do gun red flag laws and universal background checks for safety. That's bullshit. They ain't doing it for safety. They're doing it so they can take your kids' guns, because when we're dead, they're going to think the kids aren't going to value this stuff the way this generation is. And they do it every generation. You gotta wake up. COVID. Guys, after everything that went on with COVID, that should tell you real quick, like, what they're capable of. How many businesses do you know that closed? How many? I mean, they were arresting Summer of Love, or people out there protesting, burning police precincts, killing police officers and other innocent people, just in the way. No mask, no nothing. No arrests made. If there were arrests made, Kamala Harris and her minions, all these stupid-ass Democrats, or modern-day communists, were bailing these people out. Okay? And then, if you tried to show up to a flipping restaurant, or go to a gym or something, nope. No mask. That's making the business owners close down. In some places, they wouldn't allow churches to gather. It's not good, guys. Where's the line need to be drawn? Well, and see, this is another thing. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Now, I've talked about the divide, the division the government causes, like the Jew and Palestinian thing. That's a bunch of bullshit. Yep, I'm a Christian. I know about, what is it? Is it Ezekiel? Talking about all the stuff that's going to happen in Israel when the Great Wars, all this stuff. I got it, guys. But hear me out. This is some bullshit that's going on. This is a bunch of politicians playing everyone, and they're trying to pit Jews against Palestinians. Look, the shit that happened October 7th was horrible. That was absolutely horrible. And those dudes need to be hung publicly. I don't even know if I can say that. Okay. Scratch that. Things need to happen to them that's not good, but for what they did. And anybody that supports that, bad things need to happen. Guys, our government gave Iran $6 billion. Like just a few months, 3 months, 2 or 3 months before that happened. A lot of the weaponry, some of the weaponry, was some that was left in Afghanistan. Others, when they followed the paper trail, the money trail, it led back to Iran funding it. To Hamas terrorists in Gaza. Hamas is terrorist. Period. That's the same thing as like ISIS, Al Qaeda, any of those. That they're terrorist. Hamas is terrorist. Okay. So my point is, this is all playing on people. This is to further division. Okay. This is part of the divide. They've got the blacks and whites trying to pit them against each other. The only shit you're going to see on TV headlines is when a white cop shoots a black dude. That's it. You know how many black cops shoot black guys daily? You know how many white cops shoot white guys? You know, that's the case around where I live because it's primarily white people. White dudes are the shitbags around here. If you're a shitbag, you're a shitbag. Like, it don't matter what color you are. You're either cool or you're not cool. Period. I tell people I'm just colorblind. I really don't care what color you are. I cannot stand the race crap being brought up, like, in that way. When I was in the military, we would always make race jokes about each other. I had some of the best redneck jokes. But, or have some. But my point is, like, dude, we were brothers. We were like all different colors, but we're brothers. We loved each other. We'd take bullets for each other. And, you know, the way they're trying to divide us now is just sickening. Sickening. I hate seeing it. It all started with Obama. He's the one. That's where that crap started, and the degrading of our law enforcement. You know, people bitch about not having good law enforcement now. Well, what high speed? I mean, there's not many high speed, good quality dudes right now going to sign up to be a cop. Period. This is not happening, and I can't say I blame them. I know a few guys that's going in, and you have my support. Excuse me, I just ate supper. But they have my support. God bless you. And, you know, I am glad that we do still have some good cops. But and that's one reason I won't blanket statement. I will not, like, put a support the blue on my vehicle or anything because I'm like, no, not all of them are good. There are a lot of good ones, but not all of them are. Just like, I wouldn't even do that, like, I served in the Army. I wouldn't even do that for the Army. Like, I support all Army, so no. I serve with shitbags too. So, I'm not going to, like, blanket statement anything like that anymore. That's just crazy. I don't think you should. And that kind of goes into the divide. Like, I'm not going to say all black people are criminals. You know what I'm saying? That's stupid. No, I know a lot of damn good black people. And, same thing with white people. You know, they're not all crackers. Actually, we are all crackers. But you know, not all white people are meth heads. You know, that seems to be the white person's drug or around here for whatever reason. So I'm not gonna blanket statement anything really. I don't like doing that. The older I've gotten, the more, you know, I've been sort of conscious of that. I don't like blanket statement. I don't like to blanket statement anything like that. And Jews and Palestinians, you know, not all Palestinians supported what happened in Israel October 7th. And also, not all Jews are supporting, you know, the continuation of this damn war. They're like, you know, make the people responsible pay, but no, we don't want war with Iran. We're not. That's America wanting this because they're going to get filthy rich and they don't give a shit about whose kids get sent over there to die. The divide. They get you to, they play your emotions to get you to pick one side or the other, and all of a sudden you're an extremist on either side. That's what that's all about. Okay, moving on. I don't know why I put that. I put the Afghan retreat. And that pisses me off. I got friends that died over there. It started off with a good mission, a good cause, the GWAT, and it's a shame it went down the way it did. We damn sure shouldn't have left weapons, military grade weapons. I mean, our current administration handed belt-fed machine guns, night vision, actual full auto assault rifles, armored Humvees, the works, to terrorists that chant death to America and were killing, executing Christians and raping their families. They did that. That happened. If you got the stomach for it, research some of that, of what has happened. I'll give you one story. So I listened to the radio of this channel, this radio station called the Joy FM. It's a Christian radio station. I like the radio station. In the early mornings, because I get to work at 6 a.m. I wake up at 4:30 every morning. And I'll listen on my way to work to this program that comes on within the Joy FM. It's called Focus on the Family. They're a very cool outfit if you want to support. They support, family and saving babies in the womb, things like that. And they have a lot of connections all over the world. Well, they had a lot of people, a lot of friends in Afghanistan when all that happened. And one of their personal friends, the Taliban showed up in a American Humvee, by the way, with these men had American weapons. They tracked this gentleman by an app. He had a smartphone. He had his Bible on his phone. And these dudes tracked him by that app. Found that app on his phone. And he had a wife and I think 2 daughters. And they drug him in front of the house and made the wife and children stand outside. Children were little. They weren't even 10. I remember that. They weren't double digits yet. They drug him by the Humvee till he died. And before they did that, they had raped his family, made him watch that. And then, I don't even know if I can say that on YouTube. But, and then made them watch him getting drugged. And this is one of the friends of that program that I listened to. Like, he verified this happened. This was his friend. And then they eventually killed the guy's family after all that. Imagine that. Like, this is the people, and they want to take our guns away. They tell us we don't need AR-15s. They tell us that we shouldn't be worrying about what our kids are learning in school. Don't tell me that shit. But if you're the one supporting and funding and doing that kind of stuff in other countries, yeah. Okay. All right. Moving on from that. But a lot of that went on. That was not just one case. There's tens of thousands of cases similar to that. Horrible shit that was happening to Christians over there. It was not trying to hurt anyone. Anyway, that goes back to if you're trying to remove God from society. Yeah, that's why I feel that way. The border. Good God Almighty, the border. That one's. We should not be having this discussion. The border should not be for any party. That should not be an issue. There are politicians right now, as of, April of 2024, they're focused on TikTok and shit, and sending money to Ukraine, and sending money to Israel, and some other countries that I don't even know. Like, none of these countries do anything for us. If a country, like when we're having hard times, and by the way, for the rest of the world watching, we are in hard times right now. So if y'all could just start sending us some money, like putting us a few billion in y'all's little spending bills, that'd be great. Thanks. I've not went on a vacation in over a year. Over a year. My kids haven't got to go on a vacation. And I know some people's probably, and some of you are probably like, hell, I ain't been on one in years. Not a year, years. And that's BS. That's BS. Because as hard as everyone works and takes care of their family, tries to do the right thing, and then we gotta, you turn on your TV, for those of you that got it, or news or Facebook or whatever, and there's damn people running, most of them, fighting age males, coming across our borders. They're handing them little pamphlets not forget to vote for Biden, new iPhones, $1,500 Visa cards with a trip to wherever they want to go. There are immigrants, criminals, illegal criminals, staying in like super nice hotels and things in New York and Chicago and California. California's trying to pass that squatter law shit where they can just inhabit someone's house. It's insane, guys. But there are people walking the streets that's trying to work and feed their family that are struggling. They're stressed to the max. Crime's high as hell. Can't have a gun. And then they have to look at these people staying in like some of the nicest hotels that we couldn't even dream to stay in. And they're not working or doing anything. It's bullshit. It is bullshit. Some of the stuff we have to see and deal with. And our tax money. Every single time I get paid, it's like over 30% off the top. I file married. I don't even file single. I file married. 0-0. Still get 30% off the top. Then, and I hope all of you've already opened your eyes to this. Every time you buy fuel, taxed. Every time you buy groceries, taxed. Every year for your vehicle, taxed. You pay off your house, cool. You can keep paying taxes on it. And this is out of money that's already taxed. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Most of you already know that, though. Alright, men being men. Guys, it's so important now to do manly shit. Everything they do, everything they feed us, fast food, minimize it. Because everything has estrogen. Everything is like decreasing testosterone. It's insane. It's insane. Like, a lot of young men can't even grow beards and shit. Do push-ups. Do some flipping push-ups. Be able to pull yourself up on a platform. Get strong. Get strong. Walk with weight. Ruck. I rucked 3 miles Tuesday. 40 pounds. Do 20% of your body weight. A lot of good information out there. A lot of good dudes. I like Grunt Proof. Follow him. If you're not, he goes in a lot about rucking, just maintaining a Minutemen level fitness. I think that's very important. So do something, okay? Do not let yourself. If you had to fight to protect your family, if someone tried to kidnap one of your kids, tried to molest your wife around you, whatever the case, be fit enough and be capable of enough violence to keep your family safe. Guys, if you've never been in a fight, please go hit some mats. Okay? And I'm serious. I'm not just saying that. Go hit some mats. Whatever kind of martial arts, kickboxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that's really popular right now. Ground fighting. For me, I've done kickboxing, I've done Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I've done Muay Thai. And I didn't even do that much of it. It take like a week, just a week of each. You're gonna learn a ton, especially if you've never done it. And I'm not talking about watching shit on TV or anything. I'm like, get in there with other men, because if you've never been in a real physical altercation, you don't understand what it feels like to get hit. And you don't, and guys, a lot of people that like, they freak out. Like I've had my ass beat a couple times, and it's just part of it. If you're fighting, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're doing this kind of stuff, you're always going to get up against dudes that are better than you, and that's good because that's where you learn. But it's not as bad, or to me, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. Like getting hit in the face, like unless you got like a stud, normally they're not gonna knock you out if you half-ass know what you're doing. You should be capable of violence, though. You should be very capable of violence. That's something I hope you get back into. Honestly, I got some buddies that's pretty deep in it, and I'd love to learn from them, because fighting is something I've always enjoyed. I think it's something that men should be doing, or at least be capable of doing. So, if you've never been in a fight, you should go hit some mats with other men, other grown men, similar in size or even bigger, because you will understand the amount of strength it will take and the speed and violence it's going to take to go up against an opponent like that. Okay? It's very important. It's very important. It's sad. A lot of dudes have not experienced that. So that's something men need to start doing, and getting fit, guys. Getting fit. I do 50 push-ups a day. I've broke my left shoulder twice. I've broke my right one once. I've ripped I've had some rotator cuff issues on my right one. I do not let that stuff stop me. Is it a challenge? Yep. But I do it. I make sure I can do it. It sucks, but you gotta be able to do that kind of stuff. I do 50 a day, minimum. Sometimes I'll do 100. I'll do 100 some days. So, do that stuff. Get strong. Be capable of violence. And also that goes in with firearms training too. Be capable of violence. You should know how to fight. That conditions you physically. That's part of physical conditioning, but it's 2024, guys. Street fights are not fair, and that's why I'm all about carrying a firearm, because I'm not there when it's me or my family on the line. I'm not there to play fair. I play fair on the mats, but not in a street fight. Okay, so most criminals bring knives or guns anyway. I know that from experience. I got a scar from a knife. Alright, FBI, ATF, CIA, all these shitheads. I don't know. I'm going to say the FBI. Not everyone in the FBI is bad. I think there are some good officers in the FBI. I think there's still high-speed dudes that truly love America in there, but you need to be speaking up for those of you that are. It's not cool to be following some shit orders the way a lot of them do. ATF, they can go to hell. But the big point is what I was getting at with these agencies, especially the FBI. Be careful who you let into your circles. I heard this on Black Scout Survival. He was talking about this, I think, yesterday. A lot of them in the chats. If anyone is wanting you to break the law, if they're like, we need to go take America back, that type of shit, it's probably a Fed. The best way to take America back is personal excellence, like Andy Frisella talks about, being a better you, and letting that spread. Everybody being better people, unity, that kind of stuff. That's what's going to make America better. Government ain't going to make America better. Removing a government so another government can be put in place ain't going to make America better. The individuals. The ATF, when they passed that bullshit about the AR-15 pistol braces, holy cow, I've been talking forever. I'm going to try to wrap this up, but the ATF, when they tried to pass the bullshit pistol brace stuff, like 99% of people did not, like, they're like, go to hell. Just didn't care. What did they do? They said, oh shit, no one's listening. We're going to pretend like we didn't do that. And that disappeared. That's how you make change. Yep, there was a few little idiots, douchebags, that registered their shit. Oh boy. Don't do it. Okay? If it's unconstitutional, just don't do it. Don't vote for these people. You have to vote for someone. Andy Frisella made a hell of a point about voting, and I'm going to end with this. I'm going to leave it off on this. Voting. Everyone needs to vote. Just like when it comes to voting, you have to pick the lesser of the two evils. You have to pick the best of the two. Not saying you're going to like both choices, but pick the best one. And then that sends a signal to all. Number one, our last election, that was the fairest election in the history of America, with Joe Biden getting 81 million votes. Right. That was because a lot of people didn't vote. And they had mail-in ballots. It was so funny how Trump won all the in-person voting, but didn't win any of the mail-in voting. But the point is, a lot of people did not vote, period. So, you've got, I don't know if y'all can see, I don't even know if this is going to be worth doing. Y'all can see this. Y'all see that? Okay. Alright, so vote and no vote. So all these people voted and this many did not vote, right? So let's just fill this little box up. However many millions of people voted, this little box is full. Everyone's accounted for, right? All these votes are counted. And then you got all this box. Well, we'll just erase it. That's the point. All this is empty because no one voted. And so over here is 0 to 100%. So there's, I don't know, I'm just going to use a number here. We're going to say 40% of people didn't vote. But Biden won by mail-in ballots. And everybody looks around and starts asking each other, wow, who all voted? Did you vote? Did you vote? And, and 40% of people's like, no, I didn't even vote. And then everybody that voted is like, well, damn. I guess he may have won. Because there's not 100% of accountability. Now, if everyone voted, we had 100% accountability, You cannot lie your way out of that. You see what I'm saying? Like if 100% of people would have voted in person and they said that, oh no, Biden got 10% more votes. No. There wasn't that many mail-in ballots because everyone voted in person. So that's not right. You see what I'm saying? Like if everyone voted in person, there would not be a way to cheat with mail-in ballots. Okay. But 2020, wasn't that just the fairest election ever? So vote, people. Vote. Let everyone's voice be heard. That's part of being an American. These values, people that bitch about gas prices, this shit going on in schools, high taxes, all this stuff. And then you're like, well, who did you vote for? Oh, I didn't vote. Shut the hell up. Don't bitch about anything. Shut up. You are not helping the problem. You are hurting it. You are creating it by not doing anything. Vote. Be a better person. Be the best version of yourself you can be. Get strong, men. And that will do it for me, because I do not want this going over an hour. I have a fam waiting on me upstairs. So guys, I hope you know a little bit about how I feel, what the company stands for, what we're about, and I hope this don't get me shut down because I'm such a tiny channel. I guess if it does, I'll try to come up with something else and be back. But guys, just get out there, be the best version of yourself you can be. Get armed, men and women. Get armed, trained. A lot of good trainers, a lot of good instructors out there. If you're around East Alabama or West Georgia, please look me up. My company, my training resume is online. It's public for everyone to see, because I want everyone to know what you're getting into before you take a class with me. Again, I do firearms and medical training. I have a medical class coming up the middle of May. If you're in this area, I would very much appreciate you coming out and getting some good stop the bleed training. It's very good stuff to know. And I sell medical kits and equipment too. If anyone's interested in that, please visit my website, preparedcitizenstg.com. And guys, that's going to do it for me tonight. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope maybe, I don't know. I guess if you don't feel this way and this makes you feel uncomfortable, I guess you can leave. Goodbye. Sayonara. Have a good weekend. And if this is how you feel, please help me. Support me, what I'm doing, and all the other people that's on this same mission. I think it's very important. Guys, I hope all y'all have a good one. Please subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And, yeah. Let me know if you guys have any questions or anything you might want to see. And that'll do it for me, guys. Hope y'all have a good one. Catch you on the next one. Be an asset to those around you, not a liability. God bless.